It's already known that when despair is brought out to the surface, the football fan will always think about the prior encounters that shaped the history between these two clubs. The part of the history that I'll speak about was the game between Barcelona and Chelsea in 2009, a robbery. Those words are always said when mentioning the two teams in the same sentence. Was Chelsea robbed from a second successive UCL final, where the referee is up to the task, and did Barca deserve to qualify to the next round? All of this will be discussed in this objective breakdown of both the away and home games. Everyone has already voiced their opinion on the second leg in Stamford, but few seem to acknowledge or even mention the refereeing mistakes that happened in the first leg, and oh boy, there were plenty. The first match was held in the Nou Camp on the 28th of April, and the referee was Wolfgang Stark from Germany. To summarize the game, Barca had possession over the ball, but struggled to create chances because of Chelsea's defensive approach to the game. Both teams had clear chances for scoring, but the goalkeepers stepped up and deprived the game from having goals. Surprisingly, only Barcelona suffered from the referee's poor decisions. The first one was a bad offside call from the linesman on Etoo in the 43rd minute. Barca were having a quick counter. Henry passed the ball to Iniesta, who dribbled past Ivanovic to clear the path for a pinpoint pass to Etoo, who, if not for the linesman, could have had a one-on-one situation with Cech. You can clearly see that it wasn't an offside. The second was the penalty against Bosingwa, who fouled Henry in the 74th minute. Henry opens up the space with a pass to Etoo, then Etoo passes back to Henry, who is then grabbed by Bosingwa. This was the most obvious refereeing mistake, as it was a clear penalty. Here you can see a still from the opposite angle. The third and last one was not sending off Ballack. He first got a yellow card in the 29th minute, but then in the 84th minute he fouled Andres Iniesta before he could enter the penalty box. Ballack used his left hand to stop Iniesta. He hit him in his face. Well, with that alone you can get a red card. And if Iniesta made it to the box, anything could have happened. Well, the referee whistled a free kick for Barcelona, but he didn't give Ballack his second yellow. Maybe because he indulged the mistake of his fellow countryman. Other than that, I don't see any reason for not sending him off. Like seriously. The first leg saw errors that cost Barcelona a comfortable lead, but the away game was the one to win the jackpot. The second leg took place in Stamford Bridge in the 6th of May, and the referee was Tom Henning Uraibu. The game ended by a draw that gave Barcelona qualification on away goals. These were the statistics of the game, so pause the video. After analyzing the stats, you can clearly understand how both teams approached the game. Barcelona had 71% of possession because Chelsea's players were defending most of the time. Barcelona only had one shot on target because they couldn't find gaps in the Blues' side's defense. Chelsea having more shots on target is no surprise, because they depended heavily on counter-attacks. Both sides suffered with this game's refereeing, that's why I will start with Barcelona and then I'll jump to Chelsea, just to avoid confusion, and without going too much in details. The first one was a handball from Ballack in the penalty box. You can see that Messi wasn't the one to shoot the ball to Ballack's hand. It was Ballack who directed his hand to make contact with the ball. Well, I'm not sure for this one being a penalty, mainly because of Messi not appealing for it, or maybe the frustration of facing Messi with the intent of clearing the ball in any way possible. So this one is a 50-50. The next one is the red card on Abidal. I'll show you the clip first so you can judge for yourself.
Messi is the competition's top scorer, 8 goals in his last 9 games in the Champions League. Anelka looking to get in here for Chelsea. Was he pulled down by Abidal? Is in Anelka's favour, but what's the decision with Abidal? It's red! He was lucky to escape it in the first half. He's gone now. Isn't this amazing?
You can clearly see that there was no contact. It were Anelka's feet that stumbled with each other. Both the linesman and the referee messed up and totally misjudged the situation. An undeserved red card which left Barcelona with 10 men for the remaining half hour. Before that, there was a foul on Drogba. It was intentional. Piqué was hit in the guts. It could have been a red card because when he jumped to receive the ball, he bent his knee 90 degrees backwards to hit Piqué. In the other hand, the Blues spent their time appealing for penalties, in which only 3 of them are worth the mention. The penalty on Drogba in the 26th minute. Just like the Henry penalty in the first leg, Drogba was grabbed by his jersey. The foul was clear without any doubt. It was a penalty. But, Abidal grabbed Drogba from his back. So logically, Drogba should have fell on his back, not the opposite. Because it was a pull, not a push, and Drogba fell because he saw that Valdez was coming for the ball. The next one was the handball on Piqué in the 82nd minute. This one was a little tricky because Piqué didn't intend to touch the ball with his hand, and the ball just happened to land on it. This one was a 50-50. The last one was Balak's penalty claim against Etoo in the last minutes of the game. Lampard played the corner, Peter Cech heads the ball, Balak goes for it and shoots, only for the ball to be blocked by Etoo. The moment Balak shoots, Etoo turns backwards, the ball hits his deltoid to be specific. Etoo never intended to hand the ball, and Balak's reaction was of someone begging for a penalty to scrap the easiest way to win after all hope was lost for qualification. Well, to end the debate, the two legs saw lots of refereeing blunders, and both teams had their share of struggle. Well, if both teams were hurt by the refereeing, so why do we only hear about Chelsea being robbed and not the game's bad arbitring? Two things: the way Chelsea played and approached the game, and the media. When you watch the highlights of the away game, you think that Chelsea was the one in control. But then you analyze the stats, you notice that after Essien scored the opening goal, Chelsea played defensively throughout the whole game and relied on long balls and counter-attacks. Chelsea parked the bus, that's why Barca had 71% of possession. Chelsea played aggressively both physically and mentally. By mentally, I mean that they knew they were no match for Barcelona. That's why they wanted to persuade the arbiter into give them penalties. Even the defenders who are 50 meters away from the penalty box pressured the ref to give them penalties, even though they can't judge the situation from that distance. It's as if they entered the game with the prior thought of provoking the ref for penalties, and the reactions further accentuate what I'm trying to prove. The media. The English media succeeded to make Chelsea appear like victims, and deliberately forgot that Barcelona did also suffer from it. England is a well-known political superpower. They can easily spread false information with their long, influential tentacles, and disorientate the public opinion. And you can see the repercussions when you browse YouTube, for example. And to further point out how much the English media is influential, I'll rewind back to 2010, England-Germany World Cup, South Africa. Remember that disallowed goal that made England furious? It happened to England, which accelerated the process of introducing the goal line technology. If it were a third world country who got their goal disallowed, the pace of making and adopting the technology would have been slower. I'm not saying that it's not a good addition to the game, I just want to say that as long as it doesn't affect a country like England, France, or Germany, for example, they won't be interested in fixing the problem. But when it happened, England quickly pressured the FIFA to implement the technology without forgetting that the EPL was the first league to do it. Returning to the Chelsea and Barca topic, one game in 2005 stole my attention. I'm talking about the away game in Stamford Bridge. In 2005, both teams faced each other in the round of 16. Barca led the home game by a score of 2-1. Then in Stamford, Chelsea scored 3 successive goals. Afterwards, Barcelona shortened the gap with 2 goals, which gave them the qualification. But in the 76th minute, Carvalho grabbed Valdez to prevent him from movement. The goal was scored because Valdez couldn't reach the ball. Guess who was the referee? Pierluigi Collina, one of the best of his generation, failed to deny the goal. After the game, he admitted on Sky Sports that he was wrong not to disallow the goal. This foul on Valdez was more obvious and impactful than any other penalty claim from the 2009 games, and it decided the outcome of the game, but apparently no one talks about it. 1 year later again, in Stamford, there was a clear handball on a Chelsea player that looked similar to Eto's 3 years later. The difference between these two handballs is that Barcelona scored and won the game, so they didn't give a second thought to criticize the ref for not giving the pen. The second leg saw a dive from Lampard which gave Chelsea an undeserved goal. Gio wasn't the one who touched Frank, it was the opposite. You see, making mistakes is human nature, and the best thing you can do is moving on. Barcelona were robbed from a league title in 2014 in the last game. Messi scored a totally legal goal, but because the referee thought that the ball bounced from the Barca player, he whistled an offside. In the end of the 6th of May, justice prevailed, and the best team went to the final. Barcelona were unstoppable, they deserved it more than Chelsea, who played dirty and defensively. and Barcelona showed the whole world how good they are by winning over United. Thank you guys for watching this video. I thank all of you for the lovely comments you left on my previous one. I know this upload was late, and I'll try uploading more consistently in the future. You can follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to stay tuned. See you later.